Hey everyone, welcome to the CNC Side Hustle Show number 10. Good morning. Yes, good morning, which is a brand new time slot here. We've got a really special guest joining us today. Some squeaking. I hear some squeaking. It was my chair. We've got a really special guest with us today, Matt from 731 Woodworks. My friend, one of the hardest working guys I know to bring you fantastic content. He's been my friend for a long time. So I'm super excited to have him on the show. We have segments planned. Tool of the week, guess the price, and Potholes. Some really fun segments that we're going to begin into some really interesting conversations about how Matt got started, how he added a CNC to his shop, how he started in making and selling things. So it's going to be great. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Andy. And in 2017, I started CNC with zero experience. I jumped in head first, and that led to making and selling products to clients such as HDTVs, Harp Design Co., and Saturday Night Live, along with craft fairs and all of the other sales channels. So we started the show to encourage people, to inspire people, to spark new ideas. And my one goal, my absolute one goal, I say this every show, but my one goal with this, with the CNC Side Hustle Show, is that you're fired up to run out into the shop and start creating and selling stuffs. See, enjoy some laughs as well, because words are hard. But you're fired up and ready to create some really cool stuff on your CNC. Real quick, before we bring Matt on, I want to tell you about the CNC Kickstart, the brand new course we've been working on that is coming summer of this year. What year are we in? 2025. And summer. I don't want to put a timeline on it, but we are very, very close. And so I created the CNC Kickstart because there's not a path of learning CNC out there like this, on how to operate a CNC, from project files to feeds and speeds to a repeatable, super simple workflow, and all the way to finishing your product. So that's what that course is, called the CNC Kickstart. If that's something, if you're really struggling with a repeatable workflow and confidence with your CNC, this is the course for you. So we're going to throw a link in the chat. Sign up for a wait list so you know when it goes live. All right. Let's bring my good friend Matt on. Matt's backstage. There he is. Welcome, everyone. Matt from 731 Woodworks.
How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Thank you for joining us, first of all.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Do you remember the time I was on your live stream?
I do.
It was like
it was a long time ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I traveled and did a collab video with Matt. He welcomed me graciously into his shop for a day. And but it was the night of the live stream, and you're like, "Hey, do you want to jump on the live stream?" And I was like, "Sure." So I've been where you're sitting, which is kind of cool.
Right, yeah.
Right there. Cool. So what's new with you, Matt?
Oh man, just cranking out content as fast as I can. We're just fixing to hire our very first full-time employee, other than me and my wife. So he starts July 1st, so that's pretty exciting.
That is super exciting, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, Matt, I honestly mean this, and it's not just to flatter you, but you are one of the hardest creators I know, hardest working creators that I know. And the rate and the quality and the tenacity that you put out content is simply incredible.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we try to put out as much as we can, but also keep it good content. And just a learning process to and get help. You know, I got editors now, and that does help a ton. And then, of course, when the new guy starts, hopefully that helps even more. So
yeah. Well, I know your content well, and I know it's extremely helpful. And you've made pivots just like everybody else has had to in the space. And really, I think what I appreciate the most is you followed your passion. And what you're passionate about, and but also what resonates, right? And it's a constant chase. So you've done that well. I know that struggle very well.
I appreciate it.
So
yeah, sometimes you just got to make decisions. You know, you look at the data and see what's working, what's not, and then go with what's working type thing. And I just kind of I try to monitor it all the time and try not to look at it too closely either, because you put out a few videos and you get really close to it and you're like, the last 3 didn't do good, abandon ship,
Yeah.
But you got to look at the whole overall picture, like the last 90 days, 365 days, like just kind of keep monitoring it.
That's great. Well, let's jump in the chat real quick before we get started in our first segment. Let's see who we've got in here I was going to say tonight, because that's typically what we do, but who we've got in here this morning. How many people were distracting from their work? Don't have your boss send us a nasty letter. We're distracting you, but this is well worth it, by the way. So let's see who we've got here. We've got Ronnie's here, a usual viewer. Steve, welcome in, Steve. And Matt, if you recognize any of these names too, let me know.
I do. I see several people that usually join our live streams. Alien Leader is on here.
Yep. Nice. Pineapple Barbecue and Woodworking. He's always here for mine. And then we've got a couple, we've got Liberty and Julianne in here from IDC Woodcraft. So don't tell Garrett that we're distracting you from your work.
Not Bored Woodworking, also one of my regular viewers. So I see several.
Cool. Well, let's get into our first segment. All right, in tool of the week, or tools of the week, Matt, I always tell the joke when we do this segment, we're not talking about your neighbor.
I got good neighbors.
You're good neighbors. But in this segment, Matt and I will be sharing the tools that we're loving right now, the tools in the shop that we've recently been using, and why we're loving them. So I'll go first, Matt, and then you can kind of follow me. I won't throw you to the wolves on this one. But maybe the next one. All right. So this one, and I preface this segment's not sponsored in any way. It's just something that we're loving. I've got 2 bits here, 2 CNC bits, and they're hard to see, but 2 bits from IDC Woodcraft here that I use to make the trendy crocodile. You've probably seen this all over the internet, and 3D relief carve the swimming crocodile. And so I used the Beast is what they call it, but this is a roughing bit. It's a chip breaking 3-flute roughing bit to clear out all of the material, and it does a really good job of hogging out material really fast. And then I came back with the 10-degree tapered ball nose bit with a really tight step over to get all the details. So if you don't know, this is a square, like let's just call it a 90-degree, a square end mill. And then this is a rounded end mill. And so with this rounded tip, we're able to get these really, really tight designs. So the reason IDC and I like IDC is, one, I know the people. They're in the chat. We support each other. It's a great company. I know all the people that work there. Small company in Indiana. And not far from me, actually. About an hour from us. But the biggest thing I like is they have an unbeatable offer, and I'm all for beginners succeeding, and they have a 90-day return guarantee. So if you break it, even if it's your fault, they will replace it for free in 90 days, which we know, Matt, that breaking bits is part of learning. And so I think it's really cool that they offer that. And but yeah, so that's those are my tools of the week, are these 2. Use 2 bits to create this really cool project. So check them out. We'll have a link. I think there's a link down in the description. There is a link down in the description to check out these 2 bits and everything else IDC Woodcraft offers. So been really happy with it. Matt, what do you got?
Track saws, man. Track saws. I've been playing with a bunch of track saws lately, and I just released a video a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. 15 track saws that I tested. I accidentally left one out, though. It should have been 16. I don't know how I missed it, but it's my favorite tool in the shop. Like, I just love track saws. I don't know why, but it's a weird obsession. So I've bought just about every one, even the Mighty MFL. Everybody said was the greatest thing ever. I think for most people, Makita or Milwaukee are the two best track saws for most people. If you're on a budget, Vevor makes a good one. That's the one I left out. I don't know how I missed that one, but it should have been in that video. But anyway, I rank those from worst to first as far as what I think is best for most people with the features and the power and everything you get, accuracy and things like that. So that's kind of what I've been working on. And I didn't realize it when I made the video, but Bosch also makes a corded track saw that wasn't in the video. So I've since purchased that one, so that I'll be doing that one soon.
So how many track saws do you own, Matt?
Well, I give most of the things away. So I just don't have space for stuff. So we wind up giving them away or whatever. So right now I think I have 4 in the shop.
Okay.
3 or 4. Yeah. I got the Makita, the Milwaukee I've kept. The Festool I've kept. My Festool was the first one. Then I bought the Milwaukee. I have the corded Makita. I have given away the 36 volt and the 40 volt Makita, both excellent saws. I just didn't have room for them. Yeah. And I still have the Mafel for now. And now the Bosch. I actually had the Bosch cordless and the corded. So I guess 5 now. So it'll be a giveaway coming soon.
Sweet. I think that's cool that because you're buying these tools and reviewing them, and then and passing on, and I'm sure to your community or.
We just do giveaways on the channel, like every so often. Yeah, I've actually thought about. I've seen another creator doing this, just selling them used for like 50% off, just to help try to recoup some of the cost.
Yeah,
because it costs a lot of money. And like today, I have the new Milwaukee dust extractor coming, and that was $1,000. So it's like I can't possibly keep everything, but I like to test and see how the features and show people. Before they make the buying decision, is this something they want to buy or not? I'd like to be able to test it out, and I think I can provide value with that. But like I said, I as much as I want to keep some of this stuff, there's no room. So I'm in a 2-car garage. So we try to. I've been thinking about doing like just a standalone website where I just sell them used as is, like they've been tested lightly, and then maybe somebody save a 50% off something.
Let's be honest, you'd keep them all if Amy
I would have a storeroom full. Yeah,
if Amy would,
but there's no room. There's no room. Zero.
Right. No, I completely get it. I built a new shop, and I built it as big as I could, like on my property, and we're already out of space. So
it happens.
And yeah. So that's cool. So I'm actually that gets me thinking. I need to check this out because. So, have you tested the Craig?
Yeah, Craig was in that video.
Yeah. So I bought my Craig. It's 5 years old. It's a great, in my opinion, 5 years ago. It was. I'm sure these things, I haven't looked at it, the track saw industry like since then, but it's been a great introductory saw, but it definitely is on the cheaper side. Is that your experience?
Yeah, it's a good saw. I think I ranked it about half. So I did it on the S tier style ranking system. If you don't know what that is, like a lot of video gamers do the ranking system. It's basically like worst to first, I guess is the best way to say it. And I put it about middle of the road just because the value that's there. I think it's like $399. You get the track, you get the saw. It's accurate. It's plenty powerful enough to do most things, especially for sheet goods and things like that. It's a really good saw. If you start cutting thicker woods, Milwaukee, Makita, you're going to see a lot of difference there. The adjustments are better. The Craig is the only one that's a right-handed saw. It cuts that way, and where all the other ones cut this way. But it just, like, I've never been like, oh man, I wish my Makita cut the opposite direction. Like, it just, you use what you got, but it just goes the wrong way, in my opinion. But they're the only one that does it. And it's probably some patent or something they got around doing that. But it's a good saw, I think, for $399. I think it's $399 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think when I bought it, the reason I was looking at the Makita, but I think actually I bought mine during COVID. I remember this now, and the Makita was sold out. You couldn't get it back then, and so I ended up with a Craig. I think it was $299 at the time, which makes sense. $100 increase over the last 5 years makes sense. And yeah, it's I used to cut down sheet goods, and it's been good. Yeah, so that's cool. Well, great. Again, check out all the links in the description below. We'll have a link to Matt's video, and we'll have the link to IDC bits. And with that, we'll head to our next segment. All right. Welcome to Guess the Price. Here is how this game is going to work. Eric, who's sitting off to the side over here, we can actually Here's his voice.
Hello.
We can actually hold hands. We're sitting so close together. But he is picked out, scoured the internet, picked 5 products that Matt and I have not seen. We have no idea what he's going to put up, which is kind of the scary part because, yeah. And we are going to guess how much they're selling for. So I want to preface this with this game is really cool. We'll see who join us in the comments. Put your guess in. We're guessing just like you. And so real time, go ahead and drop your guesses in the comments. But remember, the reason I love this game is because it teaches us that pricing is so subjective and like people are all over the place. So just keep that in mind. And Eric, hit us with the first product.
Okay, our first item is this really cool Mario designed nameplate for kids. It's made of MDF, of course painted. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick, and the one that we're going to price today is 14 inches long.
Okay. This could be painted with a clear coat, but my first reaction was epoxy. Matt, was that your first reaction?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. So let's just go with the painted version, though. Let's just say this is painted.
Yeah, they said in the description that it's just painted with some acrylic paint. I think was their
cool.
base.
And then there's the shiny part of it is there's a heavy clear coat on it on top of that. So okay, yeah, that's cool. Matt, what number comes to mind?
Well, as soon as I saw it, I thought $300, and then he said it was 14 inches, and I went down to 200, and I was like, well, I think 149 is my final offer, my final guess.
Okay, yeah, I like this one. It's customized, right? Like a name. It's kind of, it's getting. I'm not a copyright or a trademark lawyer, but it isn't explicitly Mario, right?
No. I mean, I probably was in more trouble for saying Mario than we were for showing this on the screen.
Well, no, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about them selling it.
I don't know that they have a trademark on the font. Would be the only thing.
Yeah, so I think it skirts it well. It's kind of just uses the theme. But I'm gonna go with. I like 149, Matt. I'm gonna go with. Remember, everybody, jump in, throw your number in the chat. Ooh. I'm gonna go with 125. I think it should be more. I always think it should be more than that, but I'm being realistic here. All right, Eric, what do we got?
$50.
Oh, geez.
$50. Oh, geez. That's too cheap. They need to raise their prices.
Oh, geez. Matt, how do you feel when you see? How does this make you feel when you see something like this?
I see it a bunch. You know, we'll have a private group coaching thing that we do with woodworkers trying to grow their businesses, and it's common. I fell into the trap. I think most people fall into it, mainly because when you're first starting out, you're thinking, I'm not good enough. I haven't got enough sales history yet, type thing, and you're just trying to get the wheel spinning. But almost everybody way underprices their products.
Yeah,
and then they wonder like they can't make a profit, and then they start struggling and different things like that. But what a lot of people realize when they start pricing things that should be priced appropriately, they start making more profit, and it starts getting a little more enjoyable to go to the shop.
Yes.
And people will pay for it. Like people like this is a custom thing. Like my sons are into gaming. This is live. I have a Nintendo Switch, but he was charging behind me. Like I game. And so that gamers pay money for stuff, right? And they will pay for this. Parents will pay for their kids to have a custom sign like this, and they will pay real money for it. And I think, that's what I would just raise my prices. I think it should be $149 at least. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great. There's a comment here. And let's answer this question right here. I know we're, Philip Perks asked right above that, Eric, MDF isn't durable. So that's where I would price it down. Interesting thought.
MDF is pretty robust.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
You can't soak in water, but for a sign in the house, like it's fine.
Yeah. And I would, it's interesting, right? Like, so let's think about this. Does durability matter in this instance? Not really. I mean, it's not a cutting board. It's not something that's going to be used. It's going to be hung on a wall, right? So, really,
they build furniture out of MDF. You buy it from
Right?
Walmart or IKEA.
Yeah.
I mean, my router tabletop that I built my router table, it's 2 pieces of 3/4 inch MDF, so it's 1.5 inches thick.
Yep.
No issues.
Yeah. So I think, but I think this is another the trap you were talking about, Matt, is like people don't value MDF, right? It's like a cheap wood, so that means it should be a cheap price, and like that, I never pass my material savings on to my customer. We need to charge what something is worth, what something's valued at, and not in every case, right? Sometimes it matters what something's made out of, but people that are buying this, they could care if this was made out of 2x4s and look good, it wouldn't matter.
Well, that and you have the time to set up the file. Like he has to set this whole thing up, right? Every time he does a new name.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, our next one is a Connect 4 game. It is 35 by 42 inches. Comes with 4-inch discs, and they say it's made of maple plywood.
You said you made one of these, Matt?
Yeah, I've got a video where I made 5 outdoor games. That was one of them.
Did you sell it?
No. We gave it away. We gave it to the local college.
I was going to say, how much did you charge for it? So let's get what are our guesses? What are our guesses? Looks like this one's made out of plywood. You could make this. You could get all this wood from like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. What are your guesses? We've got, we're kind of all over the board here. Looks like we're north of $100 for most people. I'm going to go $199.
My guess would be, well, I think it should be $249 or above, but I'm guessing that it's going to be less than $199.
Okay.
But I'll say $175 just to have a different answer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, look at we're scattered, but we're all the way from 100 to as high as, I'm just looking here, I see 225.
Yeah, I see a 350.
Steve says 349.
Keith's got a 325.
Okay. Nice. All right, Eric. What is this selling for?
Okay, the Connect 4 game, $230.
Okay.
That's fair. I like it.
Yeah. I think they're making a good profit there. I think that's thumbs up. All right, Eric, next.
Okay, let's head back inside. This is little plant arts. It's 14 by 20 by 3/4 inch.
14 by 20. It's pretty big.
Made out of plywood. It did say that the flowers you see there are laser cut. The pattern in the back was used with the CNC. And it does say that everything, including the flowers, are hand painted.
This is really, well, for one, the picture is extremely good. Like we talk about staging a lot when I coach people, and this is very well staged. The product is front and center. Like this is a really good product image if you put it on a website or on Etsy or anything like that.
Yes, I agree.
High contrast, like it's good.
Yeah. What does everybody think? Let us know in the comments. We've got a mixture here. So, I could go some. I have thoughts. But to the right person, what they're selling this for is, I'm going to say $79.
I think they're going to sell it for $49.
Ooh.
I think they could probably get a little more, but I think it's going to be about $49 price.
Yeah. Wall art is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but it's very subjective, and so we have to ask ourselves, like, who. This is one of those pieces where it's absolutely beautiful, and I think the creator that makes this is like really passionate about this, and they feel really strongly about this. Like they really, really like this design.
It's very niche too. Like
Yes.
people who are into plants and will also decorate with plant decor.
The problem is the problem that people run into, right? Like this is, not everybody feels the same about that, right? And there's a very select few people that feel the same about that. So anyway, $79.49. What do we got here?
$75 even.
Almost got it. 75. 75. All right. All right. Cool.
Okay, here we go on to our next one. Pickleball scoreboard. Pickleball is really popular. This is a 44-inch by 10-inch, and it's made of plywood, and it's obviously coated for outdoor use.
I know nothing about pickleball other than people like it. And it's kind of like tennis somehow.
I think that's all you need to know. And I'm not an expert. I've played it like 3 times. There's, I think, something called the kitchen. Is that? I could be completely wrong on that.
I have no clue. All I know is they don't hit a pickle.
Yeah, they don't hit a pickle with a ball.
I'm going with Carrie and Dan on this one. I think $99.
Okay, yeah, that's $100 popped in my mind. But I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna stick with my $79 answer. I really like that $79 answer. This is made out of like a construction grade plywood, right? Like a sheathing. Like that, but again, it's outdoors, so that doesn't. I think that's fine. But we all know finishing something out for outdoors is.
Do you know, like, what does pickleball cost? Like, what are the rackets cost? Like, what does it cost to go to a court? Like, is this an expensive sport or is it very approachable?
It's approachable.
I think. Okay, that might make a difference in price.
Yeah, it's approachable.
Like if it was golf, like, people spend a lot of money on golf.
Right. Yeah, I think you can get some cheap paddles you can get a cheap paddle for $20. So if you bought 2 of them, you can get started in pickleball for under $50, and it's usually free at any, community park. So you're not paying for access. So yeah. Okay. Good thoughts, Eric. What do you think it is? Or what is it, Eric?
What do I think it is?
You should know, hopefully.
Actual retail price
is $115.
Not bad.
All right.
It's fair.
And they've sold a ton of these. I saw online. A guy had like over 400 sales, and I clicked on it. Every single one was these.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the power of a niche, right, Matt? I'm sure you teach that. Yeah. Power of a niche. So, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Last one. This one's a little bit bigger.
Ooh.
So this is a custom business sign, obviously. This one here is 85 inches by 24 inches tall, and they have it about 1.5 inches thick. And you can see here on the second picture, you can see there in the background, they've created grooving, kind of give it some dimension.
Yeah, texture there.
Are the timbers included that's hanging from, or just the sign?
Just the sign itself, and this is one-sided is what we're going off of. So they will give you a discount if you get it the other side of the sign. But this is just the sign.
So one sign, just the sign, not the timbers.
Not the timbers.
I like this one. Eric, you're mixing it up on us here. This is more B2B, right? This isn't B2C.
This guy's actually really close to us. He's just up in Louisville. I came across him, and he's doing all these parts with his CNC. I'm guessing he's got a decent size one to be able to get this on there. But
yeah, that's how long did you say it was?
This is 85 inches long. This particular one we're going to price out today, 24 inches tall.
Yeah, so he has at least a 4x8 CNC. The first number that came to my mind was probably still too low. What do we got here? Let's see where people are at. Matt, do you got a number in your head?
Yeah, first thought as soon as I saw it was 2,000, and I think I'm gonna go with 24 or 2,500, 24.99.
Okay. Actually, that was 2,000 was the first number that popped in my head. But I think I'm gonna go. It's a business. It's a one-time purchase, completely custom.
This is exterior grade, of course, and then exterior paint as well that they used on it.
Yeah, they're probably making this out of like a coroplast, which is a foam, like an similar to HDU, like a high density urethane, which is so. I'm gonna go way up there. I'm going 5,000. But I mean, everybody's thinking like 1,500, 475. All right, Brian Beck says you're going to get to him there. He says 4,500. All right, Eric. Last one. What is it?
Okay, last one.
Drum roll, please.
Whoa, it's too cheap.
That's way too cheap. This guy's in Louisville. We're going to have a talk.
Yeah, 1,549.
Good for you, but and maybe if you ever watch this, if the person that makes this watches this, yeah, I mean, prove me wrong. I don't know everything, but I do gut feeling like that is too cheap.
Nice looking sign though.
Yeah. It was very, very nice work. Very nice work. Yeah. So Matt, let's talk a little bit about the pricing aspect and kind of your philosophy on it. What do you teach as far as like if someone is coming to you and struggling with like pricing? They're like, the age old question, like, what do I charge for this? How do I price this? What's your advice?
Well, I think it depends on what your goal is too. Like when I started, I took a lot of jobs that I knew I was underpricing because I wanted the experience. I wanted to be able to get that in my portfolio so I could show that I could build it, right?
Yep.
And so I did take some of those. I built a dog kennel one time that was way underpriced, but I put that in my pocket and I was like, hey, I can make this now. And so the future people will just, I was able to recoup some of the costs. But a lot of people just, I think we underprice it just because of lack of confidence or not even in yourself, but lack of confidence that somebody will actually pay you that much for a product. But what we usually tell people is like, just a quick rule of thumb, you need 40% profit margin inside of that product, most products. And so you look at your costs, you look at how long it's going to take you to make it, and then you add 40%. And then I'll get you in a ballpark, at least kind of get you in the right direction anyway. That way you're not working for nothing. Because a lot of times most people do this as a side hustle, right? And so they're trying to work a full-time job. You have a family. What is that time worth that you're taking away from your family and dedicating to growing this business? Like it has to be worth something. You have to be able to make some money there to benefit you or your family or whatever you're working for. And so when you start looking at it like that, like how much am I going to pay myself an hour to work in the shop? Like if it's going to take you 8 hours to build this product, that's worth something, right? That time is worth something. And then the skill and the knowledge that goes into it's worth something. So we always buffer in about 40% profit. It can fluctuate, of course, depending on the product and how much expertise you have in it and the streamlines you have to get it, down to a fine art. But that's kind of what we talk about a lot, just so that they have some profit. Because when they sell a product, they want to have money left over to reinvest into new tools or to new product or whatever you need there, or pay a bill or, take your wife on a date, whatever you want to use the money for.
Yeah, that's great advice. One of the things that I run into with CNC entrepreneurs is, and woodworkers, and anybody that's just starting out, is the idea that you should be making money on top of what you're making hourly. And I think that is really like counter. That's not. A lot of people, most people have the employee, mindset where like I'm making my hourly wage, so I'm good. But when you are doing this on the side, you should be making more money than just what you're charging per hour. And I made that mistake. I'm speaking from experience here. I made that mistake when I was first starting out. I was just charge material cost and my time, and that was it. But I learned very quickly that I need to be making there's profit margins, for example, on top of that. So yeah, great.
Yeah. I mean, you look at any major product, you think this phone costs $1,000 to make? No, probably make $10 to make. Right. But they have research and development. They have a bunch of employees and stuff like that. Maybe you don't have employees, but there's stuff that goes into that product, and just because it costs you $50 to make doesn't mean that you sell it for 60 or 80. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there's time and effort that went into designing and or building or getting to know how to build these things faster, building jigs, getting your shop set up, plus the tools and equipment that goes into it, your saws and your CNCs and your lasers. Like, all this stuff costs money. All that's overhead, and people pay for custom stuff. And so that's kind of the way we look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for the record, I pretty much give the same advice as you, Matt. I tell people to start with materials, material cost, labor cost, and then multiply that times 1.5, which is a 50% markup. And I figure everybody's like, well, what about the other like unaccounted for costs, like electric and different things like that? I'm like, well, that's why it's 50%. So your profit margin's probably around 40%. So I think we're dead on. But I always say too, is that is your floor price. That is the minimum price you can charge to be profitable. And I like to teach the real estate, a pricing method. That's not official name. That's what it's like. Do some market research, see what, get some experience, ask people, ask your target customers, because as a business owner, you're not price gouging if you're charging what someone else values that product as, even if it is 1,000% markup or 1,000% profit margin. If the customer is happy with the product you're producing, the problem you're solving for them, then charge it, right? And
I mean, people are buying those epoxy river tables for $30,000. I know a guy that sells them. He's booked out a year, in Northwest Arkansas of all places. And so, does it cost him $25,000 to make that table? No, it does not.
Yeah.
But he's developed the skill and the know-how, and people obey it. So he charges it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like I said, he's booked out at least a year right now, and he's making, I think, one a month or maybe a little over. And so got some employees working for him. So
yeah, I've got a similar friend who's a custom woodworker, fantastic woodworker. Like, that's what he does, is build custom furniture, custom built-ins, custom kitchens. He does it all. I've been telling him for 5 years that he hasn't been charging enough. And he's slowly increasing it, but I think there's a fear there too of pricing yourself out of work. You don't want to do that either, right?
True.
But yeah, sweet. Well, let's move on. I think we covered pricing pretty well. Matt, thanks for that. Thanks for the insight. I think a lot of people find that helpful. So let's move on to our next segment. Potholes. Potholes that we get stuck in. So this segment's all about what are some potholes that beginners face getting started, and how do we avoid them? So Matt, ask you the question. Can you start sharing about how you got a CNC in the shop and kind of your experience with that? I know we've talked about it before, you and I, but share with everybody what maybe the one or two major potholes that that got you stuck, that you had to overcome, and how you overcame them.
So a few years ago, I really wanted CNC, and just started reaching out to companies that has CNCs, and a bunch of them. All of them told me no, except for Carbide 3D. And I reached out to everybody that I knew. We're talking like very big manufacturers of CNCs all the way down to the very niche ones. And I think it was right when I went full-time in 2021. So it was right before I went full-time in 2021. And long story short, Carbide was the only one that would even work with me. And so they agreed to send me the Shapeoko 4 XXL. And at the time, I don't know why, but the guy that was there, it wasn't Kevin that's there now. The guy that was there, he's like, yeah, I will send you to you, no obligation. And I was like, no video or nothing. He's like, just have fun. I was like, that's interesting. So I did do a video on it. And so my thought was, man, I'm going to get this CNC and I'm going to be able to do this and that. And I got to make these things. And I got this thing. And I thought, all you got to do is push go and it does it, And man, was I wrong. the first couple of months, I was very frustrated. I wanted to send the thing back. I was like, this thing, I'm breaking bits. I'm destroying the table, not just the spoil board, but down into the aluminum. Like I didn't know, like the plunge. I got zero experience with 3D anything. XYZ, like that was all new to me. I did awful in math in school. Like I graduated like a C in math. Like I was doing good, and I had all A's and everything else. Like math has never been my friend, and so I was having a very difficult time. The problem was, I don't think I'm a complete dummy. The problem was I didn't take the time to actually learn the software and what it was doing. And for 2 months, I was just like throwing spaghetti against the wall. I would buy a file on Etsy or whatever, find one online. People were sending it to me, and I would just throw it over on a machine and go. It was supposed to make a sign. Well, it didn't make a sign. I made a bunch of chips because it would just cut the whole thing. I'm like, what are we doing? And of course, after breaking a bunch of bits, and I was having to buy the bits and stuff. They didn't send me bits, or more than just I think a couple that they start with. I didn't broke a bunch, and I was about to give up. And I was like, you know what? Let me just learn something. And so I went to YouTube. I think you had some videos on how to run Carbide 3D. Sam Craft had some on there. I watched some of his videos. And of course, there were a bunch of other people putting out videos. And I just sat down one day, or actually for about a week, and was watching videos over and over and applying what I was learning during watching. And finally, I got the grasp of the Carbide 3D software, which is what I was using. And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand. I know what to look for. I know if it says it's going to plunge an inch, it's going to plunge an inch, and I got to make sure it doesn't do that. And so that's one of the things. And setting the zero and getting all that stuff down that machine, I didn't have that bit setter, and so I had to do it manually every time, which was a pain. Then we upgraded to the 5 Pro, and it had the bit setter and all that stuff, and so that made a whole lot more easier. And then I realized, you know what? If you set up an XY 0 on the machine, and that's where it's always at, you don't have to re-zero it there every time. That was always helpful. But yeah, it was a very steep learning curve for someone who who thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just thought, plug and play type,
right.
Everything was set up. You just give it a file and it automatically figures everything out. I lived in a fantasy world for a while.
Well, yeah, I remember I don't know if you remember the first time, actually you and I connected over this. And you reached out about the mallet design.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember the mallet design, the mallet templates. And this was like in maybe 2021, 2020.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
21, because that's when I got it.
Okay. Yeah. 21. And, I didn't consider myself an expert by no means, but I started in 2017, and I remember that's the first time that you and I connected about it, and like your story, I love your story because it is so relatable to, I don't know a percentage, but a lot of people that get their first CNC, right? And because I think what happens is people share, whether it's Facebook groups, whether it's YouTube, whether it's like they share projects they created, like I'm doing it right now. I created this, right? If you can, I know I showed it. There we go. I created this, right? And people see that and they're like, oh, I want to be able to create that. Like, I just need the file and I need a machine and I just need to slap a piece of wood down and it'll make it. From a very, very, very high level, yes. But there's a lot more to it. So
yeah, there's quite a learning curve, and you got to be ready for it. It's one of those things that, like you said, most people don't understand, but it shouldn't be a deterrent either, because it's not hard to learn if you just sit down and take the time to do it. I know you guys got courses on it, and there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet about how to do it and stuff, but it's one of those things, like you don't know until you get it, in the shop and you start putting it in real world use.
Yeah. I mean, this is not to plug my course, but literally this is why I created the CNC Kickstart, and it's 6 projects of all different skills. Like we start with just basic profile and pocketing tool paths, and like the projects increase in complexity, and I give people the file with the tool path set up for Vectric and Carbide Create. And I think people need to get that first project feeling. Like I made something, and that'll help push them through that learning curve. But
you need a fast win.
Yeah. So that's what the course is designed to do.
I'm glad you did that, because when I started, there wasn't anybody that had anything like that in 2021 that I know of. Like, it wasn't something that you could easily get a hold of. Like, it was like you were searching the internet, looking for the random YouTube video that was teaching exactly what you needed to do to get this, thing. So yeah, it's very helpful that you have that.
Yeah. So, I looked at the market too, and there's Kyle, our friend Kyle from Learn Your CNC, has a fantastic Vectric course. And there's a couple other people out there that have courses on different aspects of CNC. But I sat back and I was like, I'm hearing all this input, hearing your story. I'm like, yes, the software is important. Don't get me wrong, but there's so much more to the process, right? Like, if you don't have woodworking skills and like finishing or, how to source materials, it's got a lot of the same questions that you get in your woodworking course, I'm sure. So that's why I created it, to help, hopefully accelerate people's learning curve, right?
Save them some bit breakage.
Yeah, save you some bit breakage, so Garrett doesn't need to offer a 90-day. Sorry, Garrett, not to devalue your thing, but I'm trying to save bits. But I do have, Matt, something that you probably would find helpful. I've been sharing it. It's a checklist that I put together. Eric will drop it in the chat. If anybody needs a checklist to like go through every single time, get in a workflow, you can check out the checklist there on the side, and just limit mistakes before they happen. Because I think there's nothing worse. Like you said, you were frustrated for months. There's nothing worse.
2 months. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than spending thousands of dollars on a tool and coming to hate it.
What's funny is after about a month or so, I thought I was getting a little overconfident. And so there were several times I would set a thing to run and I would watch it start 5 minutes or so. Everything was going good. And my shop is literally right behind this wall here to my right. And I was like, I'll come into the office and I can hear the thing running, right? And you hear, like, no, take off running out there. And it's like done buried itself up. Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. So the good thing about CNC and the bad thing about CNC is it'll do 99.9% of the time. It'll do exactly what you tell it to or what you don't tell it to.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's glitches, but that is very rare. And most of the time it's the user.
That's what I tell people when I tell them the exact same thing. That CNC is going to do exactly what you tell it to do.
Yep.
And if you tell it to do wrong, it's going to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't think for itself. So that's great. So what are some resources that I know you said Samcraft, YouTube. Is there any resources on any part of the process that you recommend than what we talked about?
Like I said, you guys are the ones that I started with, and I would direct people back to you guys. Of course, YouTube, you can look up YouTube videos for specific problems or issues sometimes. Etsy, I've got several different files on Etsy before too, just looking for whatever the CNC file. Mine uses Carbide 3D files because I'm using the Carbide software. Somebody asked what software I was using. I'm still using that. Cool. So I just look for the .c2d file extension on there and make sure that way it just comes right in and I don't have to program a bunch of stuff. I can just kind of tweak the program. My dog's barking.
That's all right. I forgot your dog's name. What's your dog's name?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going nuts this morning.
Yeah.
Crying and barking.
Jeez. They're like, Dad, you're not supposed to be live this time of day. That's great. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I think, from when I started in 2017 was zero experience with CNC. I had a very similar experience as you, Matt. I actually rage quit my CNC for 6 months. I don't tell a lot of people this, but I'm going to start telling people because I think it's approachable, right? I did. I walked away from my Shapeoko 3 XXL for 6 months because you get to that point of like, if I didn't know what I was doing wrong, and I don't want to spend my hobby time or my free time like troubleshooting. It's not why I got into CNC. I got into CNC to make things and sell things. And so yeah. So I completely get that. Completely get that.
I think your link's not working to the checklist.
Yeah, it looks like Eric's checking it right now. Hang on a second. We'll get a good link in there for you. If not, you can, and if you're watching this after the show, head to the description. We'll have a good link in there for you for the checklist. Yeah.
So let's questions. Can I answer those real quick?
Yeah, exactly. That was next on my list. Let's jump in the chat and see what questions we got. I'll take some questions here. Dan asked, I don't even have a shop, just a 7x16 cargo trailer. Any advice? Matt, I'll let you take that.
I've seen people turn those into mobile shops.
Yeah, mobile shop. So what are some kind of considerations? 7x16. I mean, that's, Matt, I remember you started in your shed out back, right?
Yeah, I didn't even have that much space.
And that,
literally, I had the shed. The back 3/4 of it was Christmas storage, and then the front quarter of it's what I was using. I think it's a 20-foot long shed, so I maybe had 8 feet or so, maybe a little less.
Okay.
But that was really just to keep the tools dry, and then I would just pull them out in front and work in the dirt. I didn't have a workbench or anything like that. I was literally building stuff in the dirt. I get a lot of people talk about they have apartment buildings and they do woodworking on their balcony, or they do it in a room.
Awesome.
Like it's like with hand tools to keep the dust down. I mean, it just depends on what you're making, really, is how much space you need. I was building outdoor furniture in the dirt, and it worked out all right. And then I moved into the garage when my wife had mercy on me, and we have moved, built tables and things like that from there. There's a lot of good options out there too for just portable stuff or space saving stuff, fold down workbenches or collapsible workbenches and stuff like that you can pull in and out. So that's kind of that's how I would approach it. Just like the most space savings you can get. You might use the cargo trailer to store the tools and then work outside of the trailer, weather permitting, for all of your other stuff.
Cool. Yeah, good advice. Stewart's Woodworks asked, hello, Andy and Matt, brand new to CNC. Congratulations. In fact, it comes in tomorrow. All right.
Congrats.
Intimidated about the computer part. Just bought first laptop ever 3 weeks ago and haven't opened the box. Any advice?
What CNC did you get, out of curiosity?
Yep, that's a good question. It comes tomorrow, so that's it. So it's exciting and daunting, right? And Matt and I have had this. It's been a while now, but we've had this exact feeling. First thing you got to do is you're going to have to assemble it, right? You're going to have to do some assembly. They've come a long ways. I don't know if you know, Matt, when I first bought mine in 2017, literally it came in it came in little tiny pieces. Like I had to, screws and I had to build that thing. It took me a week to build it. That is not the case anymore. Unless, it depends what CNC you got, but the major ones have come a long ways in assembly time. So I think my advice is just throttle your expectations. Making something isn't the first thing that you're going to be doing. Like actually physically creating a complex project. So throttle your project expectations, create a small project first and build momentum. But I also recommend whatever software you're using, go to that software's website. And if it's one of the major ones, well, if it's Vectric or Carbide Create, they have pre-made files. So download those files, cutrocket.com. Vectric has free community projects. Start with those projects. And something I think people overlook is you can learn the software, learn toolpaths by setting up or by looking how those pre-made files are set up.
If it's Carbide, they also have a free course that you can go through. Like today, you can open your laptop and go to, I think it's my.carbide3d.com, and they have a whole course teaching you how to make a project and step by step how to use the software. Like that stuff didn't exist when I started anyway.
Yeah, when we got started, for sure. All right, Bob Jr. asks, what is your response when someone asks for a lower price on one of your products?
Well, if you're not willing to lower the price, I just tell them, I appreciate the offer.
Yeah.
Like there's, you can respectfully decline their offer of a lower price. But the problem is if you start agreeing to lower price, you create a terrible customer. And the reason I say that is I did it. And so one of my first customers, I gave her a very good price. And the next product, I didn't raise the price on the next thing. And then it just snowballed. And then they expect that lower price. And if you try to raise it, then, they fuss about it or whatever. So I would just respectfully decline. I think I got a video on this actually. You just search 731 low price. You should find it. And so it's just one of those things like I just tell them, we're especially if it's like you're at 500 and they offer 100, like you see that a lot on Facebook. Would you take $50? And I just say, we're too far apart. Thank you for your time. And just move on with my life because I'm not haggling over the price. Like the price is the price. You don't walk into Walmart and look at a TV and say, hey, will you take $50 for this $500 TV? You're not doing that. You don't do that in any other store. So I wouldn't that's what I tell people. I'm like, this isn't like, we're not a used car salesman. Like we're not haggling this price.
But Matt, I'm paying cash.
Yeah, exactly. I'm paying cash. Yeah. The price is the price and you're not buying a house. We're not going back and forth on offers. Like that's where a lot of people, they'll get that offer, because they want to make the money, and you got a $400 item and somebody offers you $250. You start thinking, well, I've only got $200 of material. I could, it's $50 profit. No, it's not, because you bought all these tools. You spent all this time, like you're still not making money.
Yeah, for sure. Again, Matt, you said this earlier. If you're at the beginning of your journey and you want to build your portfolio, then maybe you make an exception, but that is not where you stay. Yeah. Cool. What do we got next? Stuart Woodworks says, Matt, is that 40% on top of your hourly wages figured in?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. After all the pricing's done, material cost, time, even overhead, like bits and glue, if it takes a whole bunch of screws, like all that goes into it, and then add 40%. That's profit. 40% is profit.
Yes. Kodiak Craft. How do you handle foreign competition that copies your ideas and sell lower than you can produce?
I don't know. Keep doing you. I mean, there's going to be, that happens to major companies, and it happens to people that are putting their stuff on Etsy. And, if it's public, I got almost all of my stuff has been ripped off and or posted somewhere else. Like even my videos are getting ripped off and put on Facebook and selling other things other than what I'm saying on the video. Like it's crazy. And Facebook doesn't really, like there's very little you can do about it. You can report it and do it, but they just don't. And it's the same thing with any foreign made stuff that, China or whoever is ripping off an IP product and then they're selling it. Like there's zero ramifications for it. And so there's really nothing you can do about it other than try to sell your stuff to your people, your customers.
Yeah, for sure. I tell everybody, and this isn't okay, but the reality, it's the reality of it. If you are selling online, if you're selling anything online, if you're posting online, if you're posting videos like Matt and I online, and you become successful enough, you will be copied. You will be ripped off. You will be, and I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that should be the case. But the reality is if you're posting stuff online and it's really, really good, and you're not a large company with a bunch of lawyers and attorneys, it is going to get reshared, stolen, reproduced in some way.
Yeah, I had a guy taking all of my YouTube videos, putting them on his website, creating a blog underneath it, and then, of course, putting all of his affiliate links into there. So basically, he was monetizing my video for his gain, and I wound up having to send a cease and desist on that one just because, like, he was doing it to everybody. Like, anybody that was putting YouTube videos out that had any views at all, he was doing it to them. And thankfully, he pulled it down. I didn't have to take it any further.
Good. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. One way around it is develop a local customer base that you have access to, and other people, at least as many people online, don't have access to. Cool. All right. If we got any other questions, I think we've hit them all here. Matt, do you got anything to add here before I thank my channel members?
No, sir.
Cool. We just want to thank our 12 channel members. Thank you so much for your support. First of all, you're supporting us in this way. We've got Johnny Gardner, Technotan Australia, David Mercer, Monte Jones, Aaron Newton, Earl Mahaffey, Cody Elkins. Welcome, Cody, from Jenny Bits. He is our newest member. Net News Ledger, Roland Glidden, Randall Jenkins, Pineapples Barbecue and Woodworking, and Bradley Custom Designs. Thank you. Seriously, we put a lot of effort into the show. And so if you want to get your name on the wall, again, this isn't just a one-time thing. These people's names will forever be on Andy Bird Build's YouTube channel, because you can watch this. Actually, thousands of people watch this after the live. So you can, there'll be a button right below the chat. You can become a channel member today if you're interested in that. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time out of your day, man. You and I want to say we go way back in the YouTube world, at least. We do. We've known each other for about 5 years, which is awesome. I appreciate your friendship and advice and guidance over the years. So thank you for doing this.
Having me.
Yeah, for sure. Where, if people want to look you up, don't know where to find you, where can they find you?
731 Works on all social media, just at 731 or just 731works.com. Cool.
Yeah, Matt's got a lot of great stuff, a lot of videos. You're putting out is it still 2 videos a week and one live stream?
Yeah, Thursday and Sunday we do full length videos. Tuesdays are live streams, and any other day that's not a full length video day, we do short.
There you go. Great woodworking. 7 days a week. Great woodworking.
I started a Tool Deals email too that I send out every morning. And so you can just sign up for that at the website, 731works.com. Click on the Tool Deals button. And I'm sending out about 8 to 10 really, really good deals every morning. Should get them about 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Central Time. I have them all set up.
Matt, that's dangerous, man.
Yeah, I know.
Woo.
Very dangerous.
I don't know.
Saving big bucks.
Yeah, I know. That's great. We appreciate everything you do for the woodworking community. And what I like to always say here when I wrap it up, the show, kind of our send-off note is, now it's your turn to head out in the shop, fire up the CNC, and create something you're proud of. We'll see you in the next show.